thank you for watching. Last time I recorded a video, the last 2 times, with my voice, the mic was stupid and kept picking up the fans. So hopefully this has fixed that. So this is my second Ascension run. I figured I'd get to the end and then just show you the build I used. And this is a split shot build that does not use the Blunderbuss. The Blunderbuss converts all your projectiles into a single shot and multiplies your damage output by the number of projectiles, and then the base is raised. This does not actually use any of the skills for actual damage. What it does is it uses this. Marksman skills that deal like physical damage to ignited enemies trigger a fire explosion, getting 362% of the triggering damage and consuming the ignited radius. Ignited status. Oh my gosh, man. No words. So this is multiplicative. And this is all marksman skills do physical damage. So every single hit will deal 27% of current conviction as additional physical damage. The absolute most conviction I have hit was 76,000. Usually I'm going to hit between 30,000 and 50,000 if I actually sit long enough, and most often things do not survive that long. So that means that your base damage does not matter. It's all the conviction doing damage. And this becomes physical, and all the benefices applied to this are then multiplied by the 362%, and all the bonuses that would apply to a fire damage instance are multiplied on at the end. So essentially, this is multiplying the multipliers of this, which are based on conviction. The first thing you want to do is get more conviction, which you do by getting the mana upgrade, and you can take the conviction generation. On this you want to focus conviction generation, and on this you want to also focus conviction generation from this Mother Perpetual Help. And then also, I'll get to this in a second. These two will let you get stupid amounts of conviction. On the old bell I have mana usage converted to conviction. Not the craziest, but it is decent. I do this. It's okay. Now, I can absolutely be boosted up way further, considering my Constellation has ridiculous cooldown reduction on hit and on kill. I will get to that in a second. So, we want as many of these physical hits as possible to cause as many of these hits as possible. For that, skill projectile, and duplicate the total while Prayer of Vengeance is active. So, shoots far more, and I can get even more. Spearhead to make split shot pierce, so that every single enemy can get hit, trigger this, and then that triggers this. And every time one of them is hit, they will trigger both of these. Now, how is this possible? Split shot is a fire skill with a chance of ignition. There are so many projectiles that it's a guaranteed ignition. What we want is for every single one of those projectiles to have a guaranteed ignition. Oh, ignite debuff. Sorry, my Destiny 2 is coming out. This causes enemies to be oiled. Oiled enemies are ignited instantly. We double the intensity in half the original duration. We don't care about the duration. We just want them to be guaranteed to be set on fire. That way, every time one of these hits, they are set on fire, then physical damage is applied, then they explode. So theoretically, every single one of these could cause an explosion from the powder bag. And when we get to a boss fight, you will see how stupidly broken this is. Now, next is marksman skill damage. That's just generic. I want more mana consumption to generate more conviction. I'm not actually using this for damage, and also I just don't have anything to go here. That's just multiplicative damage on top of all of this BS. And this, applied to this, which will then be multiplied by this, and this will be applied again on top of it. So this is multiplying itself. Crit damage will also do that, because crit damage will apply to this physical damage, and also to this multiplicative 362% damage. So then the crit damage will be multiplying itself. So when you go for blessings, you want crit chance to be maxed, and you want crit damage from this. This is one of the best ways to scale damage on this build. Then you want conviction generation from this, and decay resistance. This you want duration, and the cooldowns are necessary. Just duration and AoE. AoE makes it easier for you to be inside at the same time as enemies. Here you want the skill speed. This is all of the skills actually have cooldowns. 0.25 seconds is a cooldown. If you get cooldown reduction, you can actually make it very quick. I think the fastest you can cast is 7 casts in a second with any skill where I've had cooldown reduction applying dumb things. So just bear that in mind. It's broken. This is just free damage. It's 125% additive damage, which we would apply here, but this isn't. I don't know if this scales as a marksman damage source, but this definitely does, because this activates this. And this is more conviction, just to make life easier. And it makes it easy to start at 30,000. Which lets me ramp up my base damage significantly, because not my base damage of what's actually causing all this is 27% of 30,000 at the start of the whole combo. I'm basically just pressing 1, 2, 3 and then firing. This is just damage reduction, means we don't lose as much conviction when hit, so then we have more damage. You could use judgment here and focus on physical and fire damage sources. The physical is going to be better because it will then be multiplied by 362%. So any physical damage bonuses are better than fire damage. They're multiplied by this. So if you're going for damage bonuses, crit damage is the best, followed by physical, followed by fire. You can theoretically give blessings to directly increase this damage. I do not know if that multiplies into the 362% before other modifiers. So like a 10% damage boost would be multiplying the 362% by 36.2. I have no clue. It would be very cool though. However, regardless, on the off chance that is how it works, is good. But then otherwise it would just be the equivalent of a fire damage bonus if it was 10% snapped on the end. But considering how these bonuses work, like percentage duration increase, it all adds up together, then applies to that, or percentage slow intensity would then be like a multiplier of the 80%. Or this would, when you activate this is a multiplier of all of this, or we need a blessing that increases buff intensity by 40%. Then it would increase the crit chance and crit damage by 40%. So then that would be 40% of the 20%. So theoretically, it could be multiplicative, like multiplying this by another 10% and not making it 10% then slapped on additively at the end. On the off chance that it is multiplicative, I always take it. Yeah. That's the basics. Now for cooldown reduction, we have constellations. This stuff is busted. This first, for mana and generating power orbs. This also increases physical damage. Then we go for this to get agility orbs. Then we take this. Projectile damage for each power orb and then split shot is causing extra damage, theoretically this would then be damage for split shot's physical component. Spell damage, we have nothing that really works for that. And then this is the most important part, reduces all active cooldowns by 1 second when you gain an agility orb or a power orb. You can only gain agility orbs by dealing damage or getting kills, but the power orbs themselves you can see me able to loop time stop or slow time. I keep saying time stop. Slow time, despite it having 62% reduced duration. Oh, I have a point. Nice. That's our cooldowns. Then this increases the chance to gain an agility orb. And each one of those is multiplicative. And the base chance is 8% on hit or 40% on kill. On hit for an elite. It's basically guaranteed with the sheer volume of shots as I have here. It's absurd that gets higher because split shot fires 1 additional projectile for each agility orb. I also take deal reduced damage, but when I counted the number of projectiles, it looked somewhere in the ballpark of like 40. So, it's worth it. Crit chance, crit damage, skill speed, damage per agility orb multiplicative, that's a 40%. And bonus mana cost means more conviction. Base damage, not the most necessary. And then if enemies are further away, this helps guarantee a kill. But you want to be as close as possible. Over here, the ending damage is fire damage. So taking fire damage is not bad, but this is 40% multiplicative fire damage at max stacks. And because I'm not using and I'm not using this, there is literally no reason for me to not get the multiplicative, not have the maximum up at all times. I'm also guaranteed to apply Ignite on hit to enemies in this. So, these are all for cooldowns and bonus projectiles, the multiplicative damage from those nodes. That was a stupidly long explanation, and I apologize for stumbling through it. As for why I'm not investing more into this, the cooldown. Because this is a very short active buff, I need it up 100% of the time. Even with just the power orb cooldown reduction, I'm still having about 2 to 3 seconds of downtime on the extra projectiles. Yes, that would eventually be negated, but I'd rather not deal with it. I'd rather have this up permanently. As for closed body, it's at level 4 because I can loop that sustainably. Slow time is at level 1 because I can still loop this. All it does is increase the duration, but the cooldown massively increases as well. And I don't have percentage cooldown reduction because I'm not running bombardment. We want buff intensity or critical damage here. So just no moderation. Just in case that increases the percentage ratio by, or the percentage damage of the instance by 2%. I'm taking that. Buff intensity, this is what we want. More buff intensity. That should mean, let me check. So 69% per chance. 89. That was quite maxed. chance to hit the cap. Well, the rest of one from there should be crit damage. Yes, with the buff active, it is capped. And I'll go back to the portal. Just needed to use the bonus experience and gold gain. It's funny. I didn't even have to use my potions for damage. Sure, who cares? The sock. This at least helps us maintain conviction easier. And there's one dude. And at first, good chance to be crit damage upgrades. None of these matter. Crit damage. This is both the base damage. Base damage does not apply to our explosions. That's critical damage applies twice. Just to make it more convenient.
I reckon fortune's on our side.
What?
Got me an enlightened instrument.
Zombie dude. These guys are a bit glitchy, the physical damage doesn't always apply. Annoyingly. Oh, garbage. Lovely. I'm curious if this will increase the physical damage. So it is considered part of the marksman skill. Let's try that. Physical damage will get multiplied.
Specimen 329B insists on returning, despite his innocent. His actions confirm his reduced brain matter.
Your bullying affects me no more, little doctor.
Ah, that was stupid. Currently my favorite build. Let's see the stats. Notice that none of this adds up to that. That's because of the damage from the powder. Like, I don't remember the name of the relic. Well, that causes the. Okay, so just to go over it again, you want as many projectiles as possible on split shot to apply physical damage as much as often as possible, and you want each of those to apply ignite, which is why you have this. These are all fire skill hits. And then this now has a physical damage hit scaling with conviction, and that will each bullet can theoretically then apply the damage from powder back. So then 27% of your current conviction, I ended up with 76% at the end there. It's multiplied by 362% on each projectile. This doubles the amount of projectiles. Having Agility Orbs, you capped at 4, gives another projectile per Agility Orb. Then you have skill projectile amount. So that's 163%. You end up with somewhere in the ballpark of 40, I believe. Then this gives extra mana skill and conviction per second with reduced conviction decay, and the stack. So the more of the slow times you have, the more this will stack. This is a chunk with more conviction decay reduction, stacking with this. Then exposed for multiplicative damage that gets applied to this, and then to this as well. So it goes here, gets multiplied by this, and then applies to this again. This is more conviction, significantly more. Because normally it's 537 multiplied by 779, because if it's plus a percentage, then 100% is base. And then use constellations for cooldown reduction.